Right, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the Team 69Q channel. My name is Midget and this video is going to be a completely updated version of my tank build for Elder Scrolls Online. Now I did a few months ago release a tank build when I first started playing as a tank, and that build has obviously been modified and improved since then, with champion points and with weapons and obviously the armor sets and stuff you can put together. But this is going to be like a basic tank guide, an easy tank guide, and if there's any obviously advanced players out there, they can use this guide or build and tweak it to however they want to. So I'm going to get straight into this. So basically the armor set that I use is 5-piece Black Rose, and I also use Malabath the Scourge's monster set. I do change that between Bloodspawn and Celine's Web sort of monster set for that. Obviously the Malabath the Scourge is purely for the health beam you can get, and Bloodspawn is for the increased physical resistance you can get. I'll just show you the two. Obviously, like I say, so two parts for this Malabath the Scourge. When you take damage, you have 6% chance to create a beam that steals 5,000 health for 4 seconds, and increases your major vitality, increases healing received by 30%. And obviously that's good if you've got a really good healer in your dungeon and you obviously rely on the healer for heals. Like I say, I do also go between Bloodspawn. Bloodspawn I use when you take damage, you have 6% chance to generate 15 ultimate and increase your physical and spell resistance by 6,500 for 6 seconds every 6 seconds. So that's good if you're going to stand in there and literally just take as much damage as you can, because your resistance will go up. And like I said, I do also switch sometimes between Celine's Visage. It depends on the dungeon or whatever area you're doing. This is basically a PvE build. Like I say, if you want to do some damage at points, you can take damage, and obviously when you wear Celine's Visage monster set, you can deal direct melee damage and have a 15% chance to call a Primal Spirit that does 11,500 physical damage. With your buffs on, that will increase to 12,500 as well, so an extra grand on top of that, which is pretty good. So like I say, I use 5-part Black Rose, and I use 2 pieces of Willpower and 2 pieces of Endurance, and that's just for the extra health and stamina and magicka basically. So that's the build pretty much. Like I said, I do actually use Lecky's Axe. The Lecky's set, if you can get these, obviously have a little bonus as well, but I use it for the damage shield that you can also get on top of this, because you can never have too many shields as a tank. So every 5 seconds I can get a 3,500 point damage shield around me after I do direct melee damage to an enemy, so that's an extra damage shield I can get. So moving on, like I say, my stats so far, character, at the minute my spell resistance on 22,800 and my physical resistance on 19,500 with 29,000 maximum health. When I fully buff up, I'll show you my skills and stuff in a second, but when I fully buff my bars up, 2 seconds, press the one button there, right, and this one, when I go into the character selection now, my spell resistance has gone from 24,000 to 29,809, and my physical resistance has gone to 26,500. So there's a massive increase there. The reason why I've split my points between health and stamina, obviously stamina is what my build basically is. There's a few magicka things on there, but I don't have to worry about that coming back too quick, because most of the stuff I use is stamina. So obviously I split half and half between stamina and health. Health obviously so I can take some more damage, and obviously then rely on the healer and my own abilities to heal myself and keep myself alive whilst I'm tanking. If you really would prefer, you can either go pure stamina and have magicka with that and split the magicka and stamina bars up, if you're going to purely rely on a healer to keep you alive. Or you could take magicka and stamina off and just put it all into health, and you'll pretty much be able to last quite a long time. You'll still take damage obviously, but you will last a little bit longer with a full health bar. So moving on, like I say, I'll go into my skills now. So this is the most important part for most tanks. There's a lot of people that will say, you know, my skills aren't going to be what other people use, but this is what I use, and it works very effectively for me, and you know, fits my playing style. So basically we go in with Ransack, and this is the morph version. It's board and sword, sorry. You thrust your weapon with disciplined precision. You basically taunt the enemy 15 seconds, and you gain major fracture, reducing the physical resistance by 5,500 for 12 seconds. That's when you damage the enemy, and you also gain minor resolve, increase your physical resistance for 1,300 for 12 seconds, and that's just one ability. So we go on to the next one, which is volatile armor. I use this to increase everything. So basically you get major resolve, major ward, increase in physical and spell resistance by 5,500 for 20 seconds. Also release a spray of spikes around you, causing 3,500 damage every 10 seconds. And while active, you also gain 501 magic damage to melee attackers. And obviously, like I said, that's not a bad ability to have. Going next, we have, this is purely shields, like I say, for the tank to keep me alive. So I use Igneous Shield. A lot of tanks will use this, mainly because it's great for you and great for your group as well. So what you do is basically call in a you know what it is, a stone wall pretty much. It absorbs near enough 5,000 damage, and absorbs 100% additional damage on my shield for my health bar. And you also gain major mending, increasing the healing done by 25% per 6 seconds. And that's really good. Like I said, it will cover the allies as well. So you know it's always good to have extra shields around your allies whilst you're in dungeons and stuff. It's not really a trials build, this one. Like I said, it's mainly for dungeons. But going to the next one, we have absorb magic. You bolster your defenses, absorbing 16,105 damage. That increases when I'm buffed up as well. And it obviously heals me for 18% of maximum health. While I have a shield equipped, the ability in the slot bar, you obviously can block about 8% more, and reduces the cost by 8% as well. So it's very good to keep the stamina bar up whilst you use this as well. I then use Immovable Brute, and this is the heavy armor morph upgrade. You intensify your physical presence and gain major resolve and major ward, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 5,500 and 14.5 seconds. Also grants you immunity to knockback and disabling effects for 5 seconds, and while slotted, each piece of heavy armor worn decreases the cost to break free by 4%. And like I say, I do use a full set of heavy armor, so that is a pretty good bonus to have. My ultimates I do change between. The one I use for this one at the minute, like I say, I'm using a shield bar. So this is the Magma Shell ultimate. And that limits incoming damage to 3% of a max health, and dealing 465 flame damage every near enough 11 seconds. And when activated, nearby allies gain a damage shield as well for 111% of their max health for 9 seconds. So they do take a lot less damage. And this is sort of that. I only really call that in when my team is taking a lot of damage, and the healer can't quite get the heals off in time. So I'll call a shield up. It's enough time to let the healer get some heals out, and we can get our health bars back up until we need to get back in with the rest of the fight. So going with the second bar, I use... Oh, it's disappeared. I do actually have a sword. There we go. And in this one, I sort of have the more melee attacking and obviously some more damage shields as well. There's a few magic things on this. I think there's only one magic thing on this bar in total. Yeah, there is. So like I say, the first thing we have is Bone Shield, and this surrounds yourself with a whirlwind of bones, absorbing damage equivalent of 33% to my max health. Allies can also activate the Bone Wall synergy, absorbing equal to 66% of their max health, and will last 10 seconds. So that's a very good one to keep coming in. And like I say, equipped with the other shield as well, you'll take a lot less damage, and you'll be able to keep your team protected using Magma Shell Ultimate, the Igneous Shield, and the Bone Wall, which is going to be awesome. I then also use Inner Beast, and this is ignite the fires of hate in the enemy's heart, dealing 1,600 physical damage and forcing them to attack with 15 seconds. Grants a 15% chance that allies also targeting the same enemy can activate a Radiate synergy, dealing 1,000, near enough 2,000 magic damage to a target over 2 seconds, and then causing target to explode for 3,500 magic damage and to all nearby enemies. So that's not a bad little thing to have. Like I say, this is a taunt, so if you're going into a boss and you want to make sure the boss is only attacking you, giving you the chance to have your healer break free and do the heals whilst the DPSs do the damage, this is a good one to have. Like I say, that is also the same as Absorb Magic. That's also a taunt as well. So having 2 taunts on the bar is very, very effective. Then we also have Brawler as my... we have Reverse Slice for the first melee ability. So this is spin around and strike enemies down, dealing 1,600 physical damage and deals up to 300% more damage to enemies with less than 50% health. Other enemies nearby take 61% of the damage inflicted to the primary target. So if you do an area of effect with this one blade swirl, pretty much you'll do a lot of damage with one attack. And like I say, I only really call this in when the enemy I'm attacking is below 50%, so it kill them outright and then do 61% more damage to the people standing around him. I also use Brawler, so my left back and right back buttons are purely for the sword abilities. And this one is swat enemies in front of you with a mighty swing, dealing 1,600 physical damage and causing them to bleed for an additional 2,500 physical damage over 10 seconds. And you also gain a damage shield that absorbs 1,100 damage for 8 seconds. And each enemy hit increases the damage shield strength by 100%. So if you're in a massive group of enemies and you call this in, your damage shield is going to be ridiculously strong. My ultimate for this is Ferocious Leap, and the only reason why I use this is obviously it's the Dragon Leap with the wings where you jump in, but the reason why I use this is because I also get a damage shield that does 114% absorb of a max health to damage. So that's a very quick, oh shit, I need to get a damage shield quickly before I run out of any stamina or magicka, and I can jump in and get a shield around me for 114% of max health. And I think I also missed out Deep Breath. That's the only magic ability I have on this, and this is sort of like an area of effect thing, but for every enemy I hit, I can also gain health back. So like I say, it says near enough 1,000 damage of magic to nearby enemies, and healing me for 122% of the magic caused, damage caused. Sorry. And then any enemy hit that's cast and is interrupted, stunned, and set off balance for 2 seconds. And after 2.5 seconds, you exhale a flame, dealing 2,500 damage to all nearby enemies. So not only do you get 122% of your max health back, you also do massive damage as well. My ultimates I will be changing at some point. I will probably change the Magma Shell to the Sword and Board ultimate, which I think, as far as I know, is Shield Wall. And this basically is a reinforced shield that you call in, and it basically takes off all of the costs for your stamina abilities for 7 seconds. Obviously before it's morphed it's 5 seconds, but you can upgrade that to 7 when you morph it with an extra ability as well. So obviously if you're a massively relying stamina build, you call this in, and for 7 seconds every single stamina thing you have is free. So all the shields I have and all the taunts I have will be free to cast, which is a very good thing to have. But like I said, I'm just waiting to unlock it. I'm level 46 in sword and shield. 4 levels away from getting it, so I'll probably change that to my magma shell when I've got it unlocked. And that I think is pretty much it. I do also use, obviously on a side note, for potions and all the rest of its serums, I do actually use rabbit and preserves. So at the minute, as you can see, my bars, if they do come up, which are not, which is very frustrating. Oh, there we go. They're only very small. Obviously if I go and equip one of these now, I have 17 of them left. They increase my bars massively, so my stamina, magicka and health has gone up. And in my character, obviously, my health's gone up to 34,500 from 21. My spell resistance obviously hasn't changed, that's just different completely. But if I buff myself up completely now, if I get chance with all the buttons I've got, and then one of them, I completely buff up, and like I said, I take 29,809 spell resistance. My maximum health is on 31.1 instead of 30, and my physical resistance goes to 26.5. So it's a very, very good build to have if you're tanking, and you know, you sort of don't have much of a idea what you want your tank build to be like. This is a very good basis to take from. If you want to take this build, you can. Like I say, if you want to mix match the points in the attributes for your magicka, stamina and health, like I say, you can completely make this a stamina build and put all the points in stamina. You can completely make it a health build, so you take hardly any damage at all, or you can just like spread it across the board and be done with it all. But yes, hopefully guys you did enjoy this video. Obviously I did try and talk quite quick, because obviously these videos do drag quite a way through if you talk really slow, and I apologise if I was a bit too quick for you in places, but I'll just go back and rewind it to the bits you want to hear, and you should get some kind of idea what was going on. I will be making a Templar build as well, because I do have a champion Templar. I haven't gone into champion points actually. Talking of champion points, I'll just very quickly brief you through these. I use nothing else in this bar apart from Warlord and Magician. This Magician one reduces the magic cost of my spells by 9.2%. I do use that mainly to get the magic abilities that I do have back, because I don't have any attributes on that at the minute. I have 25 points in reduced stamina and spells by 6.9. That will be getting filled up as I go on, so all the green points I do get for the rest of my thief bar will be going into Warlord. I then split the points between Tenacity and Arcanist. So Arcanist increases your magicka recovery again by 8.1%, and Tenacity is increasing the amount of magicka and stamina your heavy attacks restore. So obviously the more points you have in that, the quicker your bar will fill up after every heavy attack you do, which is very, very handy to have if you're getting very low on stamina or magicka basically. I don't put anything in these because it's not worth it. So I go straight into the next one, which is the Mage, and I split my points between Elfborn and Blessed completely. So Blessed, I have increased the effectiveness of healing done by 16.9%. I did used to use Coagulating Blood or Green Blood. I probably will be putting that back on at some point, as it's a personal heal. So if you guys, obviously in the comments you'll put you haven't used Green Blood or Coagulating Blood, I do use that. I flick it between if I'm doing like solo or dungeons. In dungeons I'll use Coagulating Blood or Green Blood, and obviously when I'm just doing random stuff on my own in solo, I'll just put the other abilities back on. Elfborn has increased the damage and healing dealt by spell criticals. Obviously that's a very good thing to have if you're doing a lot of damage or taking a lot of damage as well. Obviously your healing will be increased massively as well. And I've got nothing else in the rest of the blue bar. And then moving on to the last bar, I have nothing in the first one of the warrior, but I do have the points split evenly in the middle bar, the lady. So I have Hardy, reduces the poison, disease and physical damage dealt to you by 9.5. Obviously that'll increase the more you get in, and the less area of effect damage you take, the better. Elemental Defender, reduce the Flame, Frost, Shock and Magic damage dealt to you, which is very handy if you're a tank because you take everything. Thick Skinned, reduces the damage you take and damage over time effects. Again, that's area of effect, and that's a very good thing to have if you, like I say, you are tanking. And in the last bar on the Lord, I have 30 in Bastion, which increases the effectiveness of damage absorbing effects by 10.8%. Obviously, the more points you have in Bastion, the better, because that just means you can absorb more damage as you go, so it'll increase your physical resistance and your spell resistance. Quick Recovery, I will also be putting up at the same time as Bastion, and this increases the effects of healing received. So if you've got a very good healer in your group, you will receive a lot more healing very quickly. Obviously, the more points you have in this, but I wanted more in Bastion to do with to start, because obviously I'm taking quite a lot of damage as a tank, so Bastion is quite an important one to have. And we're back at the beginning, so pretty much that is my build. And yeah, like I said, I do use Coagulate Green Blood, I think it is I've got. Let me just have a quick look, because I usually put it inside. I usually switch out Inner Beast and put Coagulating Blood onto that, so I do think I have it. 2 seconds. Is it Green Blood I use or Coagulating Blood? It is definitely one of the two. There we go, Green Blood. This is a very good one to have. If you're below 50% of your health, or the lower your health bar is, you press this and you get more health back. So the lower you are, that's a very quick and easy way to get health back if your healer's too far out or hasn't really done much to help you. That's a very good one to have equipped. In fact, I might equip that now because I'm going to do some dungeons in a sec. But yeah, so that's my build, guys. Like I say, if you want to obviously figure out the rest of this build, just go back in the video and pause it in places you want to figure out. And like I say, I do have a champion Templar, obviously champion 340, the same as my tank. So I will build a second video on that about my build for the healer. And yeah, so hope you guys did enjoy this video. My name has been Midget. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for watching.